Happiest of Friday to everyone in the room today. Thank you for coming out on Good Friday to join us for Empower Hour. You are in for such a awesome workshop. We have Susan here today from Scholarship Opportunities for Success,
Yep,
here
yep.
to share awesome opportunity with you ladies on how you may be eligible to receive a $5,000 grant. And that means you do not have to pay it back. So I will give the floor to Susan. Susan, when you're ready, please, after your introduction, let me know when you want me to pull up the
Okay,
slides and we'll take it from there.
okay, okay. Welcome, everybody. Bridget told me we have quite a large group today, which is really wonderful. I happen to be really excited about educational opportunities and for everybody. And our group really wants to help out women in particular. So thank you so much for coming today. And I hope everybody's well. Some people have been getting their vaccines, and I know I had a terrible reaction to my second one, but once that took care of itself, I feel really good that I can go out and about. Life resumes again. So Bridget, let's go to the second slide, the mission slide. And I don't know if I can't really see them. So, but anyway, we will just carry on. So let me tell you about, we call ourselves SOS, for short for Scholarship Opportunities for Success. So we'll go to the next, there we go. Perfect, thank you. And let me just give you first of all, a little bit of background about our organization. This is our mission statement, basically, that says that we want to help women who have limited financial resources with financial aid so they can get training or they can go back and get further education. Our organization started in 2001 by a very good friend of mine and 5 other women who decided they really wanted to help women in particular go back and pursue educational or training opportunities. So in 2001, they raised enough money to be able to offer 1, maybe 2 scholarships back then. We have grown a lot since 2001. We now have 19 board members. I've been a board member for a few years. We also have well over 100 volunteers that help us when we do charitable events to raise money to be able to offer the scholarships. One example of our board member was a Scholarship Opportunity for Success recipient many years ago. She was in an abusive marital relationship and had 2 young children. She knew she had to get out. And so she was able to receive our scholarship money, go on to become a nurse, and ultimately now she is a nurse manager at one of our local hospitals. As of last year, we gave out about 20 different awards or scholarships. The amounts range from $1,000 to a maximum of $5,000. And as I mentioned, we are a nonprofit, so 95% of the money we raise every year goes directly into our scholarships. The other 5% helps us put on various charitable events so that we can raise the money. And I would say since 2001, we have given out over 300 scholarships. So who is it that applies? Thank you. The women who apply for our scholarships come from all kinds of, all walks of life. They are women who really are convinced that education is a key to both their financial success and to life success. Very often, they're working, they have kids, and so going back to school on top of all of that is never easy. So all of our women are really resilient and are determined, I guess is probably one of the best words to use, really determined to succeed. So I will give you a couple of examples of schools that they have attended. Next slide. And this is a list of some of the schools, and you can see that the majority of them, go back one. The majority of the schools are here in Columbus, but not exclusively. We have the Fairfield Career Center. We have Central Ohio Technical College, which I believe is over in Newark. So it's not only here in Columbus. And we'll talk a little bit in a minute about the different counties that we can cover. Next slide. Examples of some of the professions that people go in are listed up here. I will tell you that I am a nurse by background. I taught at Ohio State for many, many years. I also worked in community-based healthcare for a long time also. And so I tend to work a lot with our students, our recipients that want to go back for a nursing degree, whether it's for the state-tested nurse aid program, whether it is the LPN program, or even some of the gals that want to go back into and get an RN license. But you can see on the screen, it's certainly not just that. We do have a lot of people that want to go into social services in some capacity. We also have had students that become accountants who are interested in governmental policy. You know, one way to make change in many of our communities is to know about policy. So we have somebody who actually went on and got a PhD in a, I can't remember the specific area of her policy interest, but you can see there are all kinds of different areas that people go into. Information and technology certainly is a good one also. All right, next slide. I gave you the example of the woman who is on our board that got a scholarship, but let me tell you also about a student that I worked with. And let me back up a minute. What happens when somebody receives our scholarship is every one of our board members then takes on as a mentor, takes on one of the recipients. Many times women have, if they are going to college, they may be the first one in their families to go to college. And so we try to provide a little bit extra assistance if they need it as they navigate their way through the various departments in some of the colleges and universities here. We also, as board members, are the front line as payments need to be made for different things. We're the ones that work with the recipients. But I had a student probably, I'm going to say about 2 years ago. She was in the Columbus Public Schools adult education program to become an LPN. And she had a young son, and she was determined to get her LPN degree. And she told me that someday she wanted to go on and get her registered nurse license also. But at this point, she ended up being homeless. At the same time she was working, she had she had family responsibilities. She ended up homeless. And I have to tell you, I was very concerned about her because it was in the winter, a couple of winters ago when it was really cold. And she said, "Oh, Susan, don't worry about me. I work nights." So she was at the hospital working night shift so she could be warm. And then she'd go try to sleep in her car and then try to do homework. So I really handed to her. She made it through. She got her RN license. And I just heard from her about a week ago. She's been accepted into Clark State's RN program. So there is a woman who is really determined to move forward with her life and her career. Another student I'll mention is a student that was at Columbus State, and she was the mother of 5 children and wanted to become a social worker and was very interested in becoming a child welfare advocate here in Franklin County. And I mention her because she actually applied and got our scholarship several years in a row. We on the board are very aware that going through school doesn't just take 1 year. Often it's 2 years or sometimes longer. So if you are in good stand with your school, we welcome you to apply more than once for our scholarship because we want you to get through school. We want you to succeed. Okay, next slide. who is eligible? So here are the nuts and bolts of how you go about applying for our scholarship. First of all, eligibility. Women 18 years and older are welcome to apply. You have to be a US citizen and live in Central Ohio. And we just recently expanded this from just being Franklin County to Delaware, Licking, Pickaway, Madison, and Union counties. So I was glad to see that, because sometimes people live here in Franklin County and maybe they're going to school in another county or vice versa. So we have expanded that a little bit. The next piece is that is an income piece, being near or below the federal poverty guideline. And we use that because many of the schools require you to apply for the Pell or the Ohio educational grants. And in order to be eligible for some of those, you have to be within those federal poverty guidelines. And here, just as an example, for 2021, for a family of 4, it's a maximum of income of $26,500. Your school will have a financial aid office, and many of you might be already familiar with the financial aid, but the aid offices will require that you make a FAFSA application. And FAFSA basically is a clearinghouse. They gather all your income information, and then they will identify your eligibility, the amount that you're eligible for the Pell and or the Ohio College Opportunity Grant. So I encourage you to make sure to talk with the financial aid office. I would have to say, of the schools that we've worked with, those financial aid folks are really helpful in walking you through how to do all of this. And you must have a FAFSA filed in order to apply for our scholarship also. Next, if you are in school now, you must have a GPA of 2.0 or above. And the school has to be a nonprofit as well as an accredited school or program. Now, in terms of subjects that you are pursuing, we really prefer that you're doing some sort of academic subject. We've had questions about some of the artistic endeavors, and we did at one time have a student that was at CCAD, which is the Columbus College of Art and Design, and we will entertain those. But I know if you're just taking arts and crafts or jewelry making or something like that, I would say that that might not be as strong an application as if you are doing something more academic. Next slide. Okay, so what does our grant cover? As I mentioned, the award, now it says $2,000 on there, but on occasion, we will give somebody $1,000 as a start just to see how they do in school. And then if they apply a second time, we might up it. But the grants will be really from $1,000 up to a maximum of $5,000. And the way we do this is your Pell and your Ohio Educational Grant really come first. Those need to pay out whatever it is you owe toward your education first, and any other scholarships that you have. Then our SOS grant is sort of the scholarship of last resort. So ours kicks in once you've used up those other grants. So what do we pay for? We look at this as in a, I guess, a graded type fashion. The first thing, let's say your Pell and your Ohio Education Grant cover all but, you know, $1,000 of your tuition. So your grant would first go to pay tuition. If that's all covered, then it could be for other fees. And I know, for instance, in nursing, they're lab fees. There might be, our nursing students often have to have an annual TB test. They have to have uniforms. So we would entertain the idea of covering some of those additional fees. Then, of course, we have books. or e-materials that sometimes you have to purchase. I know I'm taking a course right now through OSU, and the professor very nicely put everything up on her website because it's all done online. And so I had to buy one book, and all the other e-materials she put up there, and I didn't have to purchase anything further. But sometimes there are costs for e-materials also. So that would be the next thing we would pay for. Then we know there are lots of other expenses when it comes to education. And on occasion, we will pay for a computer for students. And I will say, we will purchase a computer, but they are not gaming computers. They are basic computers that you can use for your educational needs. I think, you know, it was maybe around $800 that we spent. We pick the computer. Sorry, you don't get to pick it because we have had students that ask for very fancy computers, and we can't afford that. So they're basic computers that you can use for your educational needs. We also on occasion have paid for transportation, bought CODA passes, bus passes. Now I believe CODA has been free through the COVID experience here, and I think they still are. So we'll see how that transpires, but we've bought gas cards for students on occasion if they have their own car, and it's just enough to get you from home to school and back. So it's not a big amount, but it does help with at least you getting to school, because we know that beyond tuition and books and those kinds of things, we know there are other costs for going back to school. Now, payments are not made to the students. They are made directly. Oh, I see somebody put up here, CODA is no longer free. Thank you. I knew they were talking about reinstituting their fees, so I wasn't sure when that was going to happen. But, you know, a CODA bus pass might be something that you might need if you don't have a car. So payments are made directly to the school or to the bookstore, or if we're working through Amazon to buy a computer. And that's where the board member mentor that you are assigned will help you make those purchases. So we don't give money directly to students. Now, in terms of the awards, the deadline is May 31st for this next year. So that's not too far away. So keep that in mind. Then we as a board meet and make our designations as to who is going to get the scholarship. And we will let students know by early July whether they've gotten the scholarship or not. And then you have, if you've gotten the scholarship, you have till July of 22, July 1st of 22 to use that scholarship amount. Now, I did mention already, if you are in good standing with your school and you want to reapply, we definitely will entertain your application. Again, we don't want to leave you high and dry, just giving scholarships 1 year in a row. So if you're doing well in school and you want to apply a second or even maybe a third time, please do. I will also mention that we've had students apply and maybe they didn't get the scholarship the first year. Please try again. We'll talk about the essays that you have to write and the importance of those in a minute. But I would say, please do reapply even if you don't get it, the scholarship the first time. Okay, now we're going to go through these next slides very quickly. You all may have better information than I do about other grants and scholarships. I put these in last year, but I won't go over in any details. But there are ways that you go about applying for scholarships that you must do. I mentioned the FAFSA that you see sort of at the bottom of this slide. Your financial aid office will help you, but you have to apply for that first. And then the next slide shows you about the Pell Grant and I think I didn't update the maximum amount. That may have changed for this year. Last year it was $6,195. I don't know if it changed for this year or not. I think I forgot to update that. But anyway, the Pell is the federal grant. And then if you go to the next slide, the other one here for Ohio that comes after Pell would be the Ohio College Opportunity Grant. And again, you have to have the FAFSA for that. Okay, so yeah, stay on this slide, right. So now what I want to do is take a few minutes and just go over our application. And because we have to do this remotely, last year I was able to bring hard copy applications and financial forms and stuff, but since we can't do that, the way you will find our application and the instructions, and I will go over everything today, is go to our website, and you can see it on there. It's SOS grants with an S on the end, .org. And our website gives you the information about who has gotten grants in the past, talks a little bit about some of our charitable events where we raise money to be able to give out scholarships. And at the very top, you'll see where it says apply. And if you click on that, you will find our current application. And there are 3 forms on there. There's one called the Educational Scholarship Announcement. And that will tell you in detail who's eligible, what the scholarship is, kind of what I've gone over here already, but also all the bits and pieces that go with the application, which I will go over also today. So remember, May 31st is the deadline this year. So you've got basically, I guess that's about 8 weeks to get everything together. Now, one thing I want to mention, because we've had a little difficulty with this in the past, is the documents that we ask for. For instance, if you are in school, we do ask for a school transcript, for instance. It needs to be the official school transcript, not a screenshot. And I'm sure you can go on your own student whatever the school has for you, your student area, and you can pull off your transcript and then email it to us. The same with employment documents. We do ask for 2 months of pay stubs, the current 2 or most current 2 months. And so it needs to be official from your place of work. So no screenshots, please. We can't accept those. All right. Now, I apologize. I tried to pull our forms onto my slides. Actually, this doesn't look too bad, but anyway, they may be a little bit hard to read depending on the size of the screen you have. This first form is the financial form. This is the easy one. All you have to do at the top is fill in your name, the last 4 digits of your social security number, and sign it. This goes to your financial aid office at the school that you're attending. We need them to fill in what you have been offered in terms of your Pell, your opportunity grant, and any other scholarships that you get. Because remember, I said SOS will only pay after all those other grants are used each semester or each quarter. So that one, all you have to do is really fill out the top and get it to your school. Then they can email it directly back to us. And the email is there at the bottom. Okay, next slide. All right, now these next 2 slides are the application itself. And again, it's pretty self-explanatory. Page 1 just asks for things like your name and your contact information, household members and ages of children. We do ask financially, are you employed? Do you get child support, other public support, monthly expenses, that kind of thing. Pretty easy. Next slide is education. So we're interested in what you're studying. What school are you going to? How many credit hours have you completed, and what is your GPA? Also, how'd you learn about our scholarship? So if you are with Just for Success, please put that down so we know where you heard about us. So again, pretty straightforward there. So if you go to the bottom of that page, what I do want to go over is how you request the amount you think you need. as I mentioned, tuition and fees are kind of our priority thing. So if your grants are not covering 100%, for instance, of your tuition and fees, let's say you still have $2,000 for the semester that is owed after Pell and any other grants you have. So then you'd want to put $2,000 for tuition and fees. Maybe you have, let's see, under books or e-materials, maybe you have to buy, I don't know, $500 worth of books, e-materials, that kind of thing. So you'd put that down under books, and you can write in e-materials. Then let's say you don't have a computer. You've been going to the public library or your school library to use your computer, but you would like us to help you buy a computer. So again, you can put in the amount there. And as I would say, I think the last amount we spent was somewhere around 800, maybe it was a little more than that, on computers. So you'd put that in there. And so your total amount down at the total request then would be $3,300 that you're asking for. So that's one way you might fill it in. Let's say you've used up your Pell and you want to request the maximum amount for us of $5,000, and you want all of it to go to your tuition because your Pell is used up. So you'd put $5,000 in there, and then the total request would be $5,000. Okay, so that's what we want you to think about. What is it that you need? Put it down. You know, we know it's not going to be exact. It's your best guess of what you think your needs are. Then just above that little box, you'll see the check sheet or the checkoff list of the other things that you'll need to send to us. So let me go over those. Next slide. The additional information. Okay, we need 2 reference letters for you. Now, these can be a work supervisor. They could be a mentor, a counselor. They could be a church representative, or maybe one of your instructors at whatever school you're going to. And what we want to know from them, we ask you, please, not personal friends or family members. We know they love you. So please don't use those. What we want is more of a, would be like a work reference, really, more professional kind of thing. And for those reference letters, you can tell them what we're looking for is, why would they want to write a letter for you? What is special about you that they think you deserve to get scholarship money from us? What is it that, you know, what is it that you do well? That kind of, I'm sure you've all had to get work references before, but that's kind of what we're looking for. Now, here's the hard part, the 2 essays that we ask. And this is where I really hope you would spend a little time thinking about what you want to write. You know, this is really what we read, and we put a lot of emphasis, I would say, on these 2 essays. So really think about what you want to tell us about yourself. The first one is your career and/or educational goals. And what obstacles do you have to gaining those goals? So as an example, I talked a little bit about the woman that's the board member who was in the abusive marital relationship. She knew she had to get out for her own safety and for her 2 children's safety. So her career goal, she knew she had to make a living. I mean, she was going to be financially responsible. So, so her career goals were to become an RN. And so she wrote about why she wanted to be an RN and what were the obstacles to going back to school. You know, the responsibilities she had for her kids, financially. I think she probably wrote about the fact that financially it would be tough for her because she was on her own with no help from this ex-husband. So that's kind of what we're looking for there. And we ask for just a maximum of 2 pages on that essay. The other essay is to tell us about some of your major life challenges, or one major life challenge that you faced, and how did you resolve it? For instance, again, using our board member as an example, her challenge was getting out of this abusive situation, getting out safely, getting her kids out safely. Because what we're really looking for here is how did she go about doing that? How it really shows your strength and your resolve to do something better for yourself, and if you have children, and for your children. So that's, again, another maximum of 1 page on that one. But what is it that, you know, has thrown a roadblock? I mean, we all have them, for heaven's sakes. We all have roadblocks in our life. And what is important is how we deal with them. And I think that's one, well, both of these essays are really important as we read your application, because it tells us how strongly you want to move ahead. Okay, the next thing is, if you are currently working, 2 months of your most current pay stubs, and again, not screenshots, please, something that is an official workplace pay stub. You might have to, I don't know, everybody has direct pay pretty much anymore. So whether they email you something when you get paid, or whether you have to call and have them send you something, and then download it and then email it on to us. The other would be, if you're in school currently, your official college transcript. And again, you should be able to get that through your own student website. For the essays, and we ask that they're PDF or Word formatted, and then, you know, you email them on to us. And again, our website has all the has the email address for sending that stuff in. Okay, last slide. All right, now I'll be happy to answer questions, but just to reiterate, go to our website. You can see it there again, sosgrants.org. And the apply button will give you the documents that you can download. Deadline is May 31st. And we do ask that you use PDF and Word format and no screenshots. It's much easier now than it used to be to get some of those official documents. It used to be a real nuisance, but I think now most people don't have too much trouble getting those official documents. So that's my spiel about SOS, and I hope you guys apply. And please, I do want to reiterate, don't be discouraged. If you get turned down this year, please apply again. You know, maybe you just need to look at your essays, make them a little stronger, but we're always happy to entertain reapplicants. And if you do get it, do think about applying more than 1 year in a row if it takes longer than 1 year for you to get through school. All of us on the board are very dedicated to getting women in school, getting degrees. We know that many of you are responsible not only for yourself, but your kids and maybe other family members. So I think it's so important to move forward so you have some security in your life. All right, I see we have some questions down here. And oh, TGIF, everyone, absolutely. Yes, I'm lucky enough to have retired a few years ago. So the days kind of blend for me, but I feel very spoiled because of that. I worked all my life, so I feel very spoiled now. But anyway, somebody going to Chamberlain. All right. This has been a big issue for us. We decided a couple of years ago that we would not do grants for people going to schools that are considered for-profit. And I believe Chamberlain is considered a for-profit school. So I'm sorry to say that we can't help with Chamberlain. And then I see somebody says code about CODA, which we mentioned already, not being free. Oh, that's right. Somebody was at Walmart buying their weekend items. So I don't see any other questions on there. Anybody else have questions?
Yes, I have a question, ma'am. I wasn't able to log on. This little cell phone to figure it all out, but I got on.
I know. Believe me, I get it.
Okay, I'm 65 and just today found out I will not get any more unemployment in a couple months, period. And I don't have any safety net. So I wanted to find out if I would like to get training, but I have a degree in music, dance, and theater.
Mhm.
And is it possible? I don't have a nest, I don't have, a trust fund or anything like that.
Right, right.
And I should be retired like you, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
would somebody who already has a degree, would I be able to, like, if I wanted to work from home as a receptionist, for instance,
Mhm.
and get some training? I mean, do I have to be in a degree program, or can I just get training to be able to get a job?
I think it would depend on the training program. Now,
Okay.
let's first tackle the issue of that you have a degree already. I ran into this, I think last year, with a couple of folks at Dress for Success that had degrees. I will tell you, our priority is women who don't have degrees already.
Okay.
However, I would say go ahead and apply. What I would look for is in your essays to say what you just said, that my unemployment is running out.
I just found that out like about an hour ago. It's
Ugh.
like you're done, and I can't take a vaccine. I'm a little bit have a good cry after this. But for health reasons, I can't do the vaccine, and I'm a sub teacher, and it's not safe. So I just found out it's done, and I will not be able to apply again. So, but I was going to join anyway. But I have kind of a unique life situation, and I'm just going to have to start engaging who can help me. Like, I don't have a computer. I need a computer. I mean, there's a lot of things I need. And, I kind of, so I was going to come anyway, but I have a unique life situation. I'm still dealing with my husband's cancer bills 10 years later. And, I could use a lot of help right now.
Yeah, right. Well, what I would say to you is you need to find a training program, because again, we don't pay out scholarship money directly to students. It would have to go to some other entity directly. But,
Okay.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Okay.
But I would make your essays strong, that, here's what I've faced and I need to go back. But, hopefully you have some sort of training program in mind. I don't know, but that you'd have to, be able to put on the application.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, I have a question as well.
Okay.
I would like to know, because you said Chamberlain, and I know it's like one of those private universities. I'm in RN school at Fairview College of Nursing, and this is my second semester.
Okay.
And I want to know if I could apply for a scholarship to go further, because it's a 2-year degree.
Okay.
And I'm getting my associate's degree, but I do plan on going to further to do my BSN.
Mhm.
And I didn't know if I could apply through you all for a scholarship while I'm still in school.
Well, I maybe you might have to clarify that. So you would apply, you're in school now.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't familiar with that school. Bellevue, you said?
No, Felbry. Felbry.
Boy, I don't know that one. That's interesting. Is that here in town?
It's in Columbus, Ohio, off of Cleveland Avenue.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. And is that for an LPN or
RN?
RN? Okay. I'm not familiar with them. Are they a for-profit school like Chamberlain?
I'm not for sure. That's what I'm confused about, because I know Chamberlain is one of those profit schools,
Right.
and they are way more expensive than Felbry College School of Nursing. So I chose Felbry, but I don't know if they're one of those profit schools or not. I could look up.
That would be the first thing. You might even be able to tell on their website. I don't know. And then can you stay at that same school for the other? You're getting the 2-year. Do they go on and offer a 4-year, or would you have to transfer to another school?
They're working on getting the 4-year program, but as of now, they stop at the
2.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now what you might have to do, first of all, find out if it's a nonprofit school.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a nonprofit, then you could apply if you still have money that's owed for, when are you going to finish?
I started August of last year, so like 2022.
Okay, so you got to, so if if all your expenses are not covered, then, you know, if you got a scholarship from us, it would kick in after July.
I'm gonna
If-
say that's fine. I just want
Yeah.
to know if I could actually apply. I would look into it being a nonprofit because
Yeah, that would be the
nursing
first thing I would
school-
do. Yeah, and then apply. Do you, for this next year of school, whatever grants and things that you have, do you have a Pell Grant or a Ohio Educational Grant?
I did Pell Grant and student loans, and
And
I was
student loans,
looking
okay.
for scholarships that I could apply for to cut off back on some of those student loans.
Right, right. Oh,
And I
yeah,
get
they're
my
so
school
expensive. I know.
semester.
Well, check, I would tell you to check into it. And if it is a nonprofit, put in an application.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you so much.
Yeah. And then if, you know, when you finish the 2-year, if you decide to go back somewhere to get the RN part of it, somewhere else, as long as it's nonprofit, you could apply there. So if for some reason this is a for-profit school now, you know, keep this in mind and apply later if you go to a nonprofit school for the RN part of it.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much. I'll look
You're
into that.
welcome. Yeah. Anybody else?
Do you know if Ohio University is nonprofit?
Yeah, OU is nonprofit. Now they are out of our area for our scholarship, though.
Okay.
Their OU is down in Athens, so that's quite a ways away.
So you have to go to a school. I thought it said that you have to live in those areas, but you have to, it has to be. a
Yeah, you
school.
know, that's a good question.
Because they have
OU.
regional campuses.
Yeah, they do. That's right. That's right. You know, Dawn is your name, right? I should double check on that. That's a really good question. I should have checked on that. I will have to get back to you on that. Can I go through Bridget? Do you, or can I go through Bridget to email you or let you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. And then Bridget, do you send out some sort of email or to your folks? Oh, you're on mute.
Of course I am. Of course, and everyone should have received a participant guide from me. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to use that email.
Okay, and I will get back to Bridget to answer that question, because you're right, they do have OU. Okay, so you live in Franklin County and you would be going to one of the OU branches.
Yes, because I started my education in 2001.
Okay,
And most of it was in Chillicothe at that branch, but there was a time when I decided to try and finish the degree, and I was going to Chillicothe and Lancaster.
okay,
And it is the Fairfield campus. The Fairfield County is included in there.
okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I was doing my foreign language in Fairfield and some studio classes in Chillicothe, but yeah. So.
Okay, well, let me double check on that, and by Monday, I will send something to Bridget and she can put it out there for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
There's another question in the chat, Susan. I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Let me pull that up here. Oh, Felbridge. Okay. Franklin. Okay.
Franklin.
Yeah. Attending Franklin, working on marketing and leadership. Ooh, absolutely. 100%. Who was that? Sherilyn Moore. Can you unmute yourself? Maybe not. Anyway, yes, you can. You're definitely Franklin's nonprofit, and that's a good degree.
Hello, thank you. I'm sorry, you may hear my daughter and
Oh.
cartoons in the background.
That's okay. You may hear dog barking at my house.
Same here too.
Yes, absolutely. Franklin is certainly one of the schools we've worked with in the past. So yeah, apply.
I sure will. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Okay. Great. Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. Did I get both of those in the chat? Oh, can it be used for a PhD? Well, now, as I mentioned before, we do prioritize training and undergraduate degrees. We really are trying to help women who are who have not gotten degrees already. PhD is taking it a little far. So, I mean, thank goodness you're doing that. But, you know, if you are of a mind to put in an application, it certainly wouldn't hurt. But I would say, you know, if we, depending on how many applicants we get, we do tend to prioritize undergraduate and sort of specialized training kinds of things.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right, anything else? There's another one. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions down there on the chat thing, but thank you. Thank you, Bridget. You're a big help. I have been on, as everybody has, 1,001 Zooms, but I've never had to do a presentation. So I wasn't sure quite how to access all the buttons and whatever. So thank you, Bridget. But I encourage you, please apply. You know, we're all about women uplifting women. As I say, I just think it's so important. And so please apply if you think you have any chance, and just make those essays strong. I'm all for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you, ladies. And thank you, Susan. Everyone, wishing you all a safe and healthy weekend.
Yes.
You too.
Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.